What is going on, guys? It's the Mad Dragon. So the teams are, of course, being announced for the July internationals now. So we've already done the preview video for the South Africa versus Wales game. So next up on the channel is going to be New Zealand versus Ireland. This is one of the games I'm really looking forward to see how this tour goes. Two really big teams at like quite a high level with some big name players. I think these are going to be some of the best games of rugby to watch over the July International. So what we'll do as we do with these preview videos, we're mixing it up this time. We're not playing a game of Rugby 22 because time is limited at this point. We're going to be checking the graphics on here of the teams that are going to be going on, running through all the players, any changes I maybe would have made, overall thoughts on the team, and then finally giving a score prediction. So let's jump in. Let's talk about the home team to start off with. So we've got New Zealand coming up here with George Bower, Cody Taylor, and Offa Tu'ungafasi on that front row. This is pretty good. I have seen they had a couple of talks about that Cody Taylor was going to be taken over in that hooker position. A couple of people were surprised by that. I think Cody Taylor's a good player. I don't think that's a bad move. Although they've got some big players there in that front row, I think speed is one of the things they're looking at here. This New Zealand team is certainly beginning to slim down a little bit. Not necessarily losing strength, but just getting that bit of speed. It seems to be the way forwards are moving now, especially hookers. So I don't think that's a terrible move at all. In terms of the lock department, Brodie Retallick and Sam Whitelock coming in there. Now, when we did the video talking about the whole team that had been announced for this New Zealand team going on in this tour, lock department was one of the areas where New Zealand were looking strong. A lot of big names in there. So it's really nice to see that two of the key ones getting in there. Sam Whitelock, not captain, of course, that'll be later on. So we'll move on to the back row now. Scott Barrett going in that 6 shirt, Sam Kane as captain, and then Ardie Savea at 8. Now, surprisingly, I didn't actually know Scott Barrett was able to play flanker, so that's quite a surprise for me there. I never really pay a lot of attention to the teams before doing the videos. I quite like to do quite a reactionary thing. I didn't know Scott Barrett was able to do the flanker position, so obviously a utility forward there, something I wasn't aware of. So again, line out situations. Ireland are absolutely clinical in terms of the line out there. Probably one of the best teams currently in terms of international rugby in terms of the line out. So you want to be able to shut down their line out as best as possible. Having Retallick, Whitelock and Barrett all in one sort of setup there in terms of your forwards, in terms of that line outs. 3 key jumpers there. I think that puts real pressure on the Ireland team. They've sort of mirrored what Ireland do with having 3 key jumpers there. I don't think that's a bad move at all. A bit of a shame not to see Papali. That's mainly just because I like Papali. I think he'll add a nice injection of pace. I'm sure he'll come on a little bit later. In terms of the backs then, we have Aaron Smith and Beauden Barrett. That was pretty much what I was expecting, especially for this first game. You want to be having a good depth of sort of experienced players who know what they're going to be doing. This is a big series. This could well come down to a 2-1 win either way. Have looked at some odds. New Zealand seem to be favourites going into it. Of course, they're probably the favourites going into it. I really think Ireland have got a good go at this one, though. So, you know, I think it's worth having those key players in there. Aaron Smith playing well at the minute. Beauden Barrett, from what I understand, going back over now to the New Zealand club level, seems to be actually at really top form, which is so nice to see. When you see Beauden Barrett, you know, unload, he looks really, really good. So nice to see there. In terms of the centres, Quinn Tupaia and Rieko Ioane. So, yeah, again, this is a good setup here. These are the 2 players I actually probably wanted to see the most in terms of the centre. Quinn Tupaia, hard man to stop. Yeah, hard lad. I don't think that's a bad move at all. Rieko Ioane, of course, moving to that centre now. Has been playing wing. I have actually seen him still playing wing. He started off on wing. He's moved to that outside centre channel now. But he has absolutely got the ability to swap back to wing. I have also seen a couple of games where he's been playing wing as well. So nice versatility there. I'm not sure how much we're going to get to see these lads unload. I'm not sure whether the first half's going to be quite forward dominated. And then they might try and find some room in that second half. But again, like we said with the forwards there, speed seems to be coming in here. Beauden Barrett is a very quick player. Rieko Ioane's quick. Tupai is a quick lad. So they've not really gone for some of the bulky forwards, or the bulky backs rather, sorry. But they're going more towards that speed and strength, which is quite nice to see. And then in the back 3, the name I absolutely can't say and everyone gets mad at me for, Lester Fainga Anaku. And that definitely didn't take like 4 attempts to even get that close to it. Making his debut, nice to see. I'm looking forward to seeing a lot from this lad, because a lot of people are talking about this is the new up-and-comer in terms of New Zealand rugby. This is going to be the lad to keep an eye on, which means I am going to have to learn how to say his name a bit better than I can do. But really looking forward to seeing him. I don't know a lot about him personally, so really nice game. What a time to make your debut. Ireland. Revenge game against Ireland. Big call there. Sever Reece will be taking over in that right wing, and then Geordie Barrett in that fullback shirt. So again, experience there. Geordie Barrett in the fullback. I do like Geordie Barrett in that fullback. Nice to see him sort of taking over that ring now. No Damien McKenzie in the side anymore. So I think, is Geordie Barrett not surely like the main call? Maybe Will Jordan could also go at fullback. But I think Geordie Barrett offers you a really nice thing. 3 Barrett brothers in one side as well. You know this has to be a good New Zealand team. In terms of the replacements, a lot of names I don't know. Tuakeo, Tuakoafi, Tarveo, Sawakula, Papali, Finlay Christie, Richie Mo'unga, and Braden Ennell. I didn't even realise Braden Ennell was in the team. I thought when we did the team announcement, he wasn't there. Maybe he's been a late addition into there. Don't know a lot about some of the replacement forwards there. Tuea Koafi is probably the only name I'm really looking at there. Sawakula is a new debutant as well. 2 debutants in a game against Ireland. Big call. They must have a lot of promise about these lads. Nice to see. Dalton Papali, as I said, I think the reason this will have been done is to bring him on in that later stages. Again, a fast flanker, quite an unusual flanker. He's good on the try scoring. We've seen him topping charts and stuff in terms of tries as well, but also a fast flanker. So second half, bit of room opening up, forwards getting tired. That is the exact time someone like Dalton Papali can absolutely smash through a line. I think that's a good move. Richie Mo'unga, probably unfortunately still second string. If you're a Crusaders fan, you're probably desperate to see him become the first string fly half. Just doesn't get there. And then Braden Ennell, big call there. But again, nice coverage. Sort of like we saw with the Wales team, having Rico Ioane there at that 13, who can also move to wing. Doesn't mean you have to make a lot of switches there. You can actually bring Braden Ennell, that outside centre, maybe take off the new debutant winger if he's not necessarily doing that well. You move him into 13. Rico Ioane moves to left wing. You can swap people about. I think that's a good move. So in terms of the team overall, this is probably what I was expecting. Realistically, it's a big name team. I actually wasn't really expecting uncapped players to be starting. I did think maybe we'd be seeing... I thought it'd be Will Jordan, Sever Reece and Geordie Barrett. That's who I thought was going to be left, right, fullback. But Will Jordan not even going to look in here. So, I mean, if there's a time to make an appearance and outshine Will Jordan... how good is this lad going to be on the left wing? But overall, I think this is a really solid New Zealand team. I think they've got a lot of speed on them, a lot of strength on them. I think it's a good team. In terms of the Ireland team, then, they're going to be looking to try and keep the momentum going. Of course, they did beat New Zealand, I don't even know, 6 months ago now-ish, which, they'll be wanting to try and carry that momentum through. The Six Nations didn't go quite how they wanted it to. Their game against France wasn't necessarily the best. So they'll be wanting to go up against a real, top tier 1 nation again now and try and put their stamp on it. So in terms of the Ireland team, it's a big team announced. This was pretty much going to be almost player for player, I think, what I called when we did the team breakdown. So let's have a little quick run through. So Andrew Porter in that loose head, Dan Sheehan and Tyg Furlong in that tight head. Yep, this is what we expected. Andrew Porter can swap loose head, tight head. Good move. Dan Sheehan, exactly what I expected. Had a really good Six Nations. Again, a lot like Taylor, speed, power. Those are the lads that are going to be coming in there. In terms of the lock department, Tyg Byrne and James Ryan. Yep, again, those are the 2 lads you'd be expecting there. Maybe Tyg Byrne could have slipped into that flanker position and had Ian Henderson in the lock department. Would have given you the 3 key jumpers, but this is the 4-5 setup that we've seen quite a lot throughout the Six Nations. I don't think is a terrible move. Peter O'Mahony, Josh van der Fleer and Keelan Doris. Yep. Again, maybe Peter O'Mahony I would have put on the bench. I think I might have just lent towards Tyg Byrne at flanker, Ian Henderson at 4, and Peter O'Mahony moved on to the bench. But, I think it's still a good setup. Peter O'Mahony's still playing well. He's a bit of an old man now, but he's certainly playing good rugby at the time being. And Josh van der Fleer and Keelan Doris were just cementing these positions in the Six Nations. This is a big forward 8-pack. This is the lads you probably saw in the Six Nations a lot. Probably even saw quite a lot of these lads playing New Zealand 6 months ago. So, yeah, I think this is a really good move. I think they've got some solid forwards there. In terms of the backs, halfback partnership, Jameson Gibson-Park and Johnny Sexton. Jameson Gibson-Park is just keeping Conor Murray out of this side. It's really nice to see high-end scrum halves going on, taking on people like Conor Murray, who also went off with the Lions and everything. I think that's a good move as well. Johnny Sexton, of course, captain number 10. We'll be seeing some 3-pointers, I have no doubt, at some point during these setups. Bit of a switch up in the centre channel here now. Robbie Henshaw at inside centre and Gary Ringrose in outside centre. Now, Ireland did play the Maori All Blacks, which is a game that completely slipped past me. I've seen some highlights from that, and Bundy Yaki was out in that game. So I'm not sure whether they were trying to maybe rest him from being in the starting team for this one. But Robbie Henshaw capable of playing inside and outside centre. Nothing wrong there. Gary Ringrose, we know what to expect from him. And then finally that back 3, James Lowe, Keith Earls and Hugo Keenan. There were some big names for this back three that we saw in that Ireland team. So there could have been a great big mishmash. I think most people would have had James Lowe. Hugo Keenan probably deserves to be in this team based on his current form and what we saw in that Six Nations. Fullback's the right position. Right wing was the only one that could be contentious, but I think Keith Earls had a really good end to his Six Nations as well. So again, I think great calls here. Not like the New Zealand team. No uncapped players in this starting team. Big team. A standard Ireland team. They're going to try and bring the game. Really nice to see. I can't wait for this competition. I think these are going to potentially be the best games of the July internationals. And then in terms of the replacements, we've got Heaven, Beelum and Cian Healy. Again, wealth of experience in that front row replacements there. Nice to see. Kieran Treadwell and Jack Conan, the replacement forwards as well within there. So again, Jack Conan been off with the Lions, played that South Africa team, used to that Tier 1 nation. Nice to see. And then Kieran Treadwell, I just want to see him play. Stop letting him come on in the final 10 minutes of the game. Put him on for a good 30 minutes. Let's have a bit of experience with this lad. He's a fast player. He's a giant guy. Really looking forward to seeing him get on the pitch. Conor Murray and Joey Carberry are going to be the replacement halfback partnership there. I think Sexton will want to stay on for as long as possible, really, just to try and cement this first game. Joey Carberry certainly playing perfectly fine, but in terms of that kicking percentage, I would maybe lean towards Johnny Sexton a bit more. And then finally, Bundy Yaki, like I just said, he's of course come off from that Maori game, going to go in there, replacement there. I don't think that's a bad move. Again, pretty limited in terms of being able to play inside centre. We don't really see him ever move anywhere else. He just plays inside centre, but the joy of having people like Robbie Henshaw is he can either come on directly for Robbie Henshaw or Aki can come on for Ringrose and Henshaw will move to that 13 shirt. So they're obviously believing centre is going to be a big area, which I'm not surprised with people like Quinta Paya playing there. I think centres are going to hit hard. They're going to be worked a lot. I think they've probably gone for the more defensive side. I would say Ringrose and Henshaw are also slightly better defensively than Bundy Yaki, or at least better defensively and not giving away cards as well. We've seen Bundy Yaki have some big hits in his past. But I think that's a good move. I think, I'm not sure how expansive this game's going to go. I'm not sure if we're going to see these wingers really light up. Maybe towards that second half, but that first half, I certainly see this being a forwards game. I think Ireland have brought the big forwards there. I think there's some good calls there. Maybe I would have liked to see Ian Henderson in there. Again, not sure about injuries. Maybe there's an injury there. Maybe you just dropped from that game for whatever reason. But a big team. I think these games are going to be great. So in terms of a score prediction, who wants to make this call then? Again, New Zealand, big favourites going in here. I think the estimation is New Zealand to win by about 10, which was a bit surprising to me. I think this is a big Ireland team. I think the caps from the Ireland team is probably more than the New Zealand team as well. I'm still going to lean towards New Zealand. I am going to lean towards New Zealand. I don't think I'll call it by 10 though. I might say New Zealand to win by... I'm going to say 6. I think they'll be just outside that try range. I think they'll just push it a little bit. I think this Ireland team is looking good, but it wouldn't genuinely surprise me if Ireland actually came away with a win in this game. They've just got to not get dominated like we saw in that France game where the team just took the game to them and they went on the back foot. As long as Ireland play attacking, I can absolutely see them having the capabilities to beat this New Zealand team. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Which team do you think is going to win? How much do you think they're going to win by? Is there any calls that are in these teams that you are really surprised by? Because I really enjoy having a read through them. Like I said, we've already done one of these for the South Africa Wales team. I'm going to try and do as many of these as I can before it sort of kicks off, basically. I can't really do any more. But if you want to see those videos as soon as they come out on the channel, make sure you are subscribed so that you get that notification as soon as they are up on the channel. And if you've enjoyed this one today, make sure to leave it a like because it does really help the channel out. And I'm very, very grateful. I hope you've all enjoyed today, guys, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.